And if you haven't guessed, we're doing something a little different tonight. Hi lovelies, it's Jen here.
And John.
And if you haven't guessed, we're doing something a little different tonight. Since we had an extra long weekend, we decided to do something we've had on the back burner for a little bit. And we wanted to do how to Disney-fy your wedding reception. We are very Disney. I worked for like 10 years at 3 different Disney stores.
And I married her.
And we got engaged in Disneyland in the castle, which was a surprise on New Year's Eve. And we honeymooned there. We decided to do our wedding up here. We did a traditional church wedding, and then we did the reception up here as well, just to make it easier for all the relatives. And that's what
to keep the cost down.
And to keep the cost down. So what we did is we put a lot of Disney into our wedding reception. So we thought we'd go ahead and give you some tips and tricks for adding Disney to your reception to really make it feel like it's a Disney wedding, even if you're not in Disney at the time. So step 1.
We would have loved to do the fairy tale weddings, go there, come in Cinderella's carriage and everything, but that's not really in our reach, and it did work out better to be able to have more of our friends and family around.
But I guarantee you Princess Aurora is going to have her wedding in a carriage. So that's just that.
And she's going to make sure it's a real prince.
Yep, and she's going to have a Disney wedding dress. But aside from that, one way that you can Disney-fy that was really easy is to get the ears. For the reception, obviously not for the wedding, but for the reception, I had these Minnie Mouse wedding ears with the veil. You can see it? Yeah. And I wore that for the whole reception. And then hubby doesn't have his ears anymore with the top.
Things disappear over time.
But we have some pictures. So that is us listening to some music. I think that was when the electric parade was playing. And then that's us actually coming into the reception when they announced us as Mr. and Mrs. And then this is just another shot of us with our mouse ears with the wedding party.
And we did get the mouse ears at Disneyland on a trip before the actual honeymoon.
But a tip that you do know is if you don't know anyone that's going to the park and you're not going to the park, maybe you're saving up for the honeymoon, but you really want the ears, you can call guest services at Disneyland or in Florida, and they will ship it to you. So if you call the number and you talk to them, you will find somebody that will be willing to buy it for you. You give them the credit card number, whatever, and they will ship it to you guys. So that's a really good tip. All right, so another way that we added some Disney to the wedding was the wine glasses. And we actually have 2 sets. They're actually identical sets.
Almost. Not.
They're pretty close.
They're pretty close.
So we had these on the table. We bought these ourselves. We had a Mickey and Minnie set that we bought ourselves. But John's aunt also bought us a set. And on her set, she engraved our names and the wedding date on it. So we have 2 sets. This one and then the one that's engraved. And then we have Minnie, Mickey. And it's kind of like a little subtle thing, but for us, we knew that we were drinking out of Disney glasses. Not everyone noticed it. Probably barely anyone did. But for us, it was really, really special to have. And we have kept them, obviously. And we do use them on special occasions like our anniversary. So it's kind of like a... He's staring at me. I don't know why.
Because you're pretty. And you were on mouse ears. Now she needs a drink.
So that's just another little way that we went ahead and added something to it. Before I forget, I wanted to show, let's go ahead. The wedding invitation. This took a lot of time and thought. I'm not afraid to show the address because it's way.
And this camera always films backwards too.
But we had
castle labels,
and I found a
blue fairy stamp,
and then some pixie dust, and I stamped the envelopes with those.
Jen hand stamped all of them.
I hand stamped over 200 invitations. 200 by myself. It took a long time. And then for our wedding invitation itself, we chose the stationery with
Right.
the castle and the prince riding up.
Subtle, but I think it's showing up a little bit on the video there.
See that?
Oh, and the prince.
Yeah, don't forget the prince.
Yeah, that's me.
And then, of course, on the reception card, also the RSVP card, we put the castle, which I really loved. So that was another way that you can do, is just through your wedding stationery. You can add a little bit of Disney to it, and I don't know, like, if hubby even remembered that we had all the castle stuff on our wedding stationery, but I remember.
And those aren't Disney castles, but it does fit the...
Yeah, it fit the theme. Nowadays, when we got married, Disney didn't have a wedding line, so everything was...
No, and there's another castle stamped on the back.
Yeah, I took my time and really stamped all the wedding invitations in several spots because I was nuts. But as I was saying, nowadays it's even easier if you want. Disney does have its own line of wedding stationery, and Disney does have, you know, everything you could possibly want in terms of wedding lines. So they do have the wedding dresses, they do themed flowers, you name it, they have it. But when we were married, they didn't have their wedding line yet. They have wedding stuff, and, you know, so we did what we did. But the castle actually, I think, worked out really well, and because it wasn't Disney, I'm sure we paid a lot less than probably you would pay for the Disney castle, and it sent across the same message that this was a fairy tale wedding, and everybody knew it when they got it and saw everything in there. And then this one doesn't have it anymore, but the one I sent out to everybody had a little bit of pixie dust actually inside, so when you opened it, the pixie dust kind of sprinkled out as you opened the wedding invitation. So ours is long gone, obviously. Let's see, what else can we say? Hubby's excited to do the ice sculptures.
Yeah.
We'll do that next.
We had lots of things Disney themed, or like those sort of Disney themed. One of the things was an ice sculpture of a castle at the reception, and not specifically Disney, as far as I can tell. It doesn't show up.
Ice.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It doesn't show up the best in the pictures.
But it was a giant. Like, you can see there how big it was, and it was a castle made out of ice. So, what can you say? Very pre-Elsa-ish, pre-Frozen, but definitely would go with the Frozen theme wedding.
Once again, getting back to when Aurora's going there.
Yeah. So again, we had an ice sculpture made, and I think that was probably one of the last things we decided to order. And I think we had to talk about that because our budget was getting pretty stretched, but I really, really wanted that. And it's one of the things that a lot of people remember still to this day from our wedding. They still talk about the ice castle that we had. So, and I remember it, and it was just beautiful. I mean, obviously, there's nothing to say from it besides the pictures, but I really think
puddle of water.
I saw a lot of my friends taking pictures, and they have pictures of it themselves, like standing, and it was a good photo op for a lot of people just to take their own pictures, so I think it was really nice. Alright, speaking of just like adding things, let's go ahead and do the cake. You want to do the cake?
Oh, right.
Alright, so this was our wedding cake, and we wanted a castle in the worst way. So we had a beautiful castle. It was underneath, as you can see, or maybe you can't from that
in
the next one.
Alright, here's a good one of the underneath.
We put a Mickey and Minnie statuette that we had picked up on a trip to Disneyland. Mickey and Minnie in their wedding gear. There you go. And then they were underneath the castle. Some close-ups of the castle, so you can really see how beautiful it was. And our colors were red and white, so that's why all the colors are red and white. Obviously, if you went to a bakery and had them make a castle cake, you could put your wedding colors red and white, or flowers red and white. So, and then another little tidbit we added was the cake cutting. I got those at the Disney store because I was working there and I got a discount. So you can see the Mickey and Minnie behind. Can you hold it back up, baby? Make it a little
Sure.
fast.
Sorry.
The Mickey and Minnie behind. There we go. That was a little statue we got. Now that was a cake topper, but because our castle was actually a cake, we put them on the bottom sheet. And then if you look at the cake cutter, it's Mickey and Minnie in the same wedding gear. And this day, a little beat up, but we still have the Mickey and Minnie wedding cake cutters, and we still use it for special occasions and for our anniversary, things like that.
Those have kind of become our everyday ones.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have saved them for special occasions, but
those are our cake cutters.
Yeah.
So again, like, these are worn down, obviously, from use, but I think that was like a really special touch, and I think for cutting the cake, cutting the castle cake, having the Mickey and Minnie cake cutters was like really special. Did you not think so? Yeah. All right. So what else do we want to talk about? I wanted to show the favors that I did. These I did before Oriental trading, because I didn't know about Oriental trading. But I ordered glass slippers. This is a plastic slipper, and what I put in there were the little almond mints, and wrapped them in the tool bags and tied them with a ribbon.
I thought it was jelly beans.
But at any rate, so we did the glass slipper, kind of going with the castle and the Cinderella kind of theme, and that's the favors that we gave everybody. I still have one slipper. Imagine that, just one. Not that I'm Disney or anything, but I did keep one, so, and that stays in my hutch. That's like a very prized possession of mine, even though it's just a little plastic slipper. It means the world to me. That's like my favorite thing. So yeah. What else did we get?
We've also got
guest book. I forgot about the guest book. So again, that one actually has a plate that has date, wedding.
The plate has name and date.
And then that was just a regular guest book on the inside. There's nothing, super fancy about it. But we went ahead and picked this set because just because it had the Mickey and Minnie, and then we got the matching wedding album for ourselves, and this is what we put our own pictures in that our friends took in the wedding. This isn't the professional, this is just ours, but again, it matches. She's got her little ears with the matching veil, and he's in his top hat with his ears.
I think maybe this is where that nameplate was supposed to be.
Yeah, and no, it hadn't sounds good. But at any rate, we got matching albums, which they do still sell. I've seen them at the Disney store and in the parks, so the version's different than what we got, but that is a really nice way to add something special. The ones we picked were beaded, and they're satin. They're a little more high-end. And then for the grandparents, actually our parents, not grandparents, but for our parents, we got the more simplistic Mickey and Minnie wedding album, just to give them a copy of the pictures. Yeah, so it was just like a really basic Mickey and Minnie wedding album. There's nothing super Disney-ish on the inside, but the outside definitely had the Mickey and Minnie wedding. And so that was kind of like a nice souvenir for them, and it was Disney themed, and it kept ours to ourselves.
And the one thing that we can't really show you is we also had a lot of Disney music at the reception.
Yes.
We picked out pretty much all of our music, and it was across a lot of genres, so there was definitely a lot of Disney in there.
When we were eating, Bella Notte played from Lady and the Tramp. Definitely that's one I can remember for sure, along with music from Gigi. Was in there. When we came in, we were surprised the DJ knew how into Disney we were, so they did the Electric Parade when we marched in. So that was really cool and a nice surprise. And then we just had Disney music throughout the evening. It wasn't entirely Disney, but there was a lot of Disney music that we had throughout the evening. And that, to me, music's like really, really important. So having the Disney music was like handpicked and exactly what we wanted was really I think that's it. I think we covered everything. So I hope this gives you guys some good ideas on how to add some Disney magic to your wedding reception, even if you're not in the parks or at a Disney hotel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you.